Good morning, everyone. Oh, it is good to see you this morning. Am I sounding all right? Am I a little good? Am I good?
Take the mic down just a pinch.
I don't know how to do that.
I got it.
Jamie's got it. Jamie Passman, our music director. Yay, somebody just barked for you, Jamie. Good morning, y'all. We're going to go. Welcome to this place of peace and justice and hope and barks. In this Unitarian Universalist congregation, we affirm no matter who you are, who you love, what species you are, wherever you are on your journey, you're welcome here. For those of you joining us online, I'm so glad you're with us, and I hope that you're holding your companion animals, if you have them, as we have the service today. If you're visiting today, I invite you to sign our visitor's book. If you'd like us to join us for Yappy Hour downstairs for coffee, you can do that. In this service, y'all, just remember, all voices are welcome. All species voices, baby voices, dog voices, y'all just let it go, because that's what we're doing today. If you're visiting and you're going to go down to our social hall, the Ellis Warren Room, and if you want to take a green mug, then we'll be sure to greet you. I am the Reverend Dr. Beth Johnson. My pronouns are she and they, and I'm so pleased to welcome you for this very special service. And I do this with our own Unitarian Universalist animal ministry in this congregation. I'm so grateful to them. If you would go ahead and put your phones on worship mode, but feel free to take some pictures, post on social media, let folks know that you're worshiping here today. Now, if you're new to our church or returning after an absence, I assure you that we have indeed gone to the dogs. We've gone to the dogs and the cats, the goldfish, the snakes. We've gone to all animals that grace this planet and our lives. October 4th is St. Francis of Assisi Day, and we here at the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale are joining fellowships and churches, Unitarian, Universalist, and other denominations that choose this time to bless, to acknowledge, and to celebrate our kinship with all life, especially the lives of the other beings with whom we share our earthly home. This, again, is a multi-species, multi-generational service, so the children will be with us in the service today. There is childcare for children under 5 in the playroom at the lower level of our RE building across the way, but y'all, everyone can stay if you would like. There's a lot going on at our church, and you can read all about it in our weekly e-news, news and notes. It will arrive in your inbox every Friday. And if you would like to receive it, go ahead and let us know, and then you can get that and find out what's happening. You can stop by at the welcome table in the living room. Just a quick announcement, the National UU Animal Ministry is having their Blessing of the Animals at 3 o'clock today online, and they have a really exciting speaker, Christopher Soul Eubanks. Yes, I'm very excited about it. Christopher's own experiences of marginalization motivated him to campaign for animals, and he describes his opening to other animals as a spiritual awakening. As a public speaker, Christopher is an advocate for climate, for people, for other animals. After learning the horrors of animal exploitation, Christopher became vegan, began doing community organizing, and helped to organize Atlanta's first ever animal march. Christopher is the founder and executive director of Apex Advocacy, a nonprofit animal rights organization that teaches grassroots activism and creates various campaigns to empower Black, Indigenous, and people of color to advocate for animals. Please see Tiff after the service to find out how to register for that. Ooh, okay, just one more. Y'all are invited to join our annual auction, where we're making possible our mission of raising $20,000 for our church. Each year, the auction event brings us together to eat, to visit, to plan events and activities where you can get to know new people, see beloved ones, and have fun. Oh, and Tony Metter's band is playing, so you want to hear that. As we'll say later in the service during our offertory time, I'm going to say it now too. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we share with one another. It is the fun we have together, the work we do together. It is what we share with one another, with the people around us, and with the world. And the annual auction, our biggest fundraiser, allows us to do just that. We nurture and build this community, y'all, not just for ourselves, although we do love us, but so that we may in turn then build and nurture the beloved community, the not yet always coming into being community of justice and love. And we build that beyond our doors as well. So plan to join us, but also plan to donate something. Share an activity, a dinner, a craft if you do something. Just invite people to get together and we'll bid and just create wonderful events with one another. You can also get donations from a local restaurant or business, your favorite sports team. Be creative, and y'all, let's do it, because this mission is possible. There you go. So take a breath with me as we arrive and acknowledge that we here in the western suburbs inhabit areas that are in the traditional territories of indigenous peoples, including Kickapoo, Peoria, Potawatomi, and others. As people trying to live into a more just world, we have a responsibility to acknowledge the history and legacy of colonialism, the harm done to Native people, and also work to repair that harm. And so it is then that we begin our service with a call to worship, and I invite Tiff and Chema up, and we are already doing the call to worship.
On this day, we come together with joy in our hearts.
Surrounded by the companions we love.
On this day, we come to celebrate
The web of life.
On this day, we come together to honor
Beloved animals that enrich our lives in so many ways.
On this day, we come together to acknowledge
The sacred importance of all living creatures.
On this day, we come together to acknowledge
The sacred importance of all living creatures.
On this day, we come to affirm
Our role as guardians of those beings.
On this day, we come together to bless
And be blessed by those furry, feathered, scaly beings
with whom we share our lives.
Thank you. All around us is a symphony of life. The wind in the trees, the roar of the ocean, the clicking of hummingbirds, the howl of owls, and the barks of dogs. That was a cue, y'all, dogs. The caw of the crow, one of my most favorite sounds. All of these sounds and more are the symphony of life. And so we gather today in this place, in this sanctuary, because we're called to be a sanctuary for all beings. So I invite you to rise in body or spirit and let us sing and rejoice. We light our chalice with these words. Let us be a light for those who speak, not with words, but with meows and barks and growls and howls, silently or in song. The four-leggeds, the winged ones, the scaly and the crawly ones. Let us be in conversation with all who live within the interdependent web. Let us bless them, and let us be their voice. Again, I'm just excited to be joined in the service, to be co-create the service with the UU Animal Blessing Animal Ministry chapter here at Unitarian Church of Hinsdale. For those of you who are new, there is a national Unitarian Universalist Animal Ministry. I had the honor of being the president at one point, and also having the honor of visiting this congregation back in 2011 or 12. This congregation was the first congregation to receive certification as a Reverence for Life congregation. And what that means is that there is an intention given to how we are with our kin of other species. So for education, yummy food, for just bringing our awareness of our relationship with other animals, their impact on our lives, and also our impact on them. So it was very exciting the day that I came, and I had already met Tiff and other members of the UUAM. So there's two folks from UU Animal Ministry who are going to speak, and I'm going to invite up Tiff Schaefer, who founded UUAM in this congregation.
Good morning. I'm Tiff, and this is Gene, and he's holding Bowie. Hey, Bowie. Bowie is a therapy dog. There are a few different kinds of animals that help people, such as service dogs and emotional support dogs, but Bowie is a therapy dog. We participate as a team in what is known as animal-assisted activity, where we visit people in schools, hospitals, libraries, nursing homes, and other facilities to provide comfort. It's been well researched now that being in the presence of or petting an animal can improve one's mood, lower blood pressure, improve reading skills, among other tangible benefits. Bowie has been a therapy dog since May, when he turned 1 year old and became eligible for the registration test, which we need to take every other year to make sure he is suitable to do therapy visits. Bowie is my third therapy dog after Desi and Tico passed away. So I've been doing therapy work since 2008. That year, there was a mass shooting at NIU, my alma mater, and I saw the therapy dogs on television comforting some of the students and faculty in their grief, and I knew I wanted to do that too. So Bowie is also registered as an animal-assisted crisis response animal, so he is able to be deployed with me to sites of natural disasters and human tragedies. We are currently regulars at a VA hospital, and I'll share one of my special memories out of the hundreds of people that I've encountered over the years doing, the last 15 years doing therapy visits. So once Desi and I went to the VA hospital, and we visited a vet who had severe PTSD. He began cooing and whispering to Desi when I placed him on his lap. But the nurse said that was the first time he'd spoken to anyone in weeks. So if anyone's interested in learning about therapy work, I'm happy to share more. And I'll turn it over to Pat for more of her stories and reflections about therapy work. Thank you.
In 1979, Joe and I moved to New York City, where I volunteered for the ASPCA, bringing animals, all kinds of animals, to hospitals, hospices, schools for multiply challenged children. I have 3 stories to tell you about hospice visits. There was a middle-aged lady who had 4 large dogs, and she refused to die until all 4 dogs were placed. And that's exactly what happened. Every time we visited, she was down 3 dogs, 2 dogs. When the last dog was placed, she passed away the very next day. when we walk past rooms and people are sleeping, we don't bother them. But there was a lady sleeping, and her nephew, it turns out, beckoned us in, and I laid Twilight, a sleek black cat, very long, next to the lady, and the lady's finger pet Twilight. The nephew told us that she really missed her cat, so that was probably the last interaction she had with an animal. We asked people before if they want to see our animals, and one lady said, "No, I love animals too much. I'm departing from this world. I don't want to be brought back. It would break my heart."
Ooh, thank you for your touching stories. Yes. What to say? What to say? Most of us, many of us, have been touched in remarkable and unique ways by other animals. Not all of us. Some of us have met dogs early on in our life and gotten afraid of them. And then some healing can take place. And then we find that we're able to interact and see them with joy and appreciation. And today we're here to tell love stories and to bless those that we love. And it's good and right that we should tell these love stories because they constitute the very fabric of our lives. And without such love, indeed, we would be impoverished. For beloveds, we cannot love too much. In the words of process philosopher Charles Hortzern, it is our loves that make us anything worth mentioning. And Hartshorn himself well understood and appreciated the subjectivity of animals. He wasn't only a philosopher, but a renowned ornithologist. He was the first to posit and publish the fact that birds at times sing for sheer enjoyment. Now, you and I might be like, oh yeah, duh. But it was groundbreaking when he published this paper in a book he has called Born to Sing. There's a story about Hartshorn going to Australia for a conference of philosophers, but the ornithologists found out that he was coming. They met him at the airport and spirited him away to their meeting first. My own love of other species began when I was a child. I was raised by a remarkable German shepherd named Duke. A loyal, of course, I'm looking at you, Picasso, gentle dog, an integral part of our family, and from him I learned the joy of companionship. When I was a small child, Mama would sit me on the front porch and she'd pin a note to me that said, "Do not touch child, dog will bite." When I wandered off the porch one day, Mama needed only to call to Duke, and I trailed right behind him. I was right around the corner. One of the feelings I love and loved is to feel the heavy body of that dog leaning up against me. As we all sat together in the living room, he was there. He'd go to each of us for some love. He'd wake us up in the morning. Mama would say, "Come on, Duke, let's get him up." So he'd dash up the stairs, and my siblings were 5 and 6 years older than me. He'd go to my brother's. I was 2 when we got him. He was 6 months. He'd go to my brother's room, and he'd nose him out of bed. And then he'd dash across the house, and he'd go to my sister's bed, and she's bitter about this to this day and kind of nibble at her butt. He'd run across the room, he'd stop at me, and just nuzzle me and kiss me. He was totally my mom's dog, though. In quiet moments, Mama would stroke him, and one day when she was petting him, she said, "I love you, say I love you." And wouldn't you know it, that beautiful dog started to vocalize and say, "I love you," but more like a dog, like, "I love you." It was so remarkable that she did it one time when my Aunt Maggie was visiting, and it scared Aunt Maggie so much, she said, "Don't ever do that again." It was intense and beautiful. My love story continued with my feline companions, Tex, who was big as the state of Texas, a big orange tabby. And I was sure at that time that loving him was the purest thing I'd ever done. And he brought me to my sense of earth-centered spirituality, and truly he brought me to the goddess. Then there was Rocket Man and Pepper and others. And then there was Lil, short for little one. Never more than 6.5 pounds, she lived large in my life. She saw me through cancer and graduate school. It was through her that I became an animal defender and liberator, because I finally saw that my Lil was no different than a cow or a pig or a lamb, or even an octopus, or even birds, and that they all share with her sentience and a desire to live free from suffering. What struck me as a child and impresses me now is how the bond we share with our companion animals. And make no mistake about it, I knew what species Duke was and all my kitties were. I think it's important to acknowledge animals' worth come not from the enjoyment they give us as humans, however much we do and should enjoy them, but from their own subjectivity and their own beingness, their own purposes, their own designs. They have their own thoughts. Sometimes they let us know what they are, like it's time to eat and I want to snuggle, or there's an intruder coming. Gary Kowalski, a Unitarian Universalist minister and founder of UU's for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, which became UU Animal Ministry, said, "Animals are not our possession or our property. Therefore, but they are our peers and fellow travelers. They have plans and purposes as important to them as our own. They not only have biologies, but also they have biographies. We can appreciate the lives of animals, but not appropriate them, for they have their own lives to lead. Our companion animals are intimately bound up with our own lives. They depend on us, don't they, for everything, for food and for shelter and for love. We are ennobled when we're moved to love and care for them. Gandhi said the greatness of any nation and its moral progress can be measured by the way in which it treats its animals. Once we are aware of animals with feelings and depth and worth, we open ourselves to loving them. At the Parliament of the World's Religions, there was animal advocacy going on. There's a flyer about it there. I've spoken mainly about companion animals, but we are no less ennobled when we care for other animals. They too need our protection, our respect, our blessing, and yes, our love. Some of you have heard this story, some of the UUAM folks. When I was in my internship, one of the pastors said, if you love animals so much, what about human babies? Now, it is true. In the receiving line, if there's a child and a dog, I have to say, go for the baby. Not that I don't love the babies, but as if love were limited. We cannot care too much. We cannot love too much, as if there's only a finite amount of love in the world in which we are capable. There is limitless love, and the more we love, the more love comes. While we may be limited in what we can do, love itself is limited only by our imaginations, our awareness, and our openness to being touched by another of whatever species. When we feel our connectedness with all beings, we tap into the source of life and love, and ever more love flows through us and through the web that holds us all tenderly. The more fully we love and care for others, I believe this, I think we're just called to love. And later in the year, one of the monthly themes is liberating love. But I want to say right now, this love is liberating. It frees us, calls us to be who and whose we were truly meant to be. And now is the time for us to sing the Dogsology. Some of you may know this tune. It's called the Doxology. How many of you remember the Doxology, depending on what tradition? You want to pay it through once so people can hear it, and then we'll sing it? Sound familiar? with me. Some of us forgot our Catholic upbringing, didn't we? And now is the time truly where we will bless the animals. And I'm going to ask Tiff and any other UAM members who want to help me with this. What we'll do is just kind of go row by row. And you know, it begs the question, who's blessing? Who does the blessing? Some of you I've only been here for like 6 months, and this is the first time I've robed. I robe on special occasions, Christmas Eve, some memorial services, baby dedications, and the blessing of the animals, because it is indeed a sacred act. And when I bless these animals, I do believe that I am channeling love and also imbuing the love that you feel and that we all share for these beings. So I'm going to invite you to come up row by row. Tiff, you can help us with this. And if you have a picture, bring the picture and tell us the name. And so we've already met, but let's hear more.
This is Bowie. He's a Havanese. He's a year and a half old.
Blessings to you, dear God. Thank you. Yeah, and maybe next. You can. Hey, Joe.
Any more cats and we will be on the 10 o'clock news. The top cat is my dearest. Her name is Willow, and she received, unfortunately, a terminal diagnosis 3 years ago when we were told that she would only be with us for 6 more months. That's 3 years ago. So that's Willow. Below is Maurice, the man of the house. This is Blossom, who came to us via Pat's friend who passed away. And that's Pat's pet, Joe and Willow. This is our little terror, Skeeter, who really shows Willow where to go. And finally, Mitzi, who we got at the same time we got Skeeter. So that's our little group of cats.
And I got the just joy of seeing them and meeting them a couple of weeks ago. So thank you for that. And they're beautiful. Next. Oh, you can sit down. Yeah. Who else would like to come on up? You can make a little line if you'd like, if you think your companions would like to stand on line.
This is Summer. She co-lives with 2 cats, Mittens and Blackberry, but we call her Mora for Blackberry in Spanish. But she doesn't get along well with the cats, so she's always chasing them around.
Oh, no.
The Barks, half of the Barks, I think, are at least responsible by our guy Frankenstein.
This is Coco, and she's only 2.5 years old. Coco.
She's a Bernedoodle, and we've had her for 2 years.
I know, Coco. You like Bowie.
This is Benny. He loves everyone.
This is Snowfire, the bearded dragon.
Can you tell us about her?
We got her just a year ago at the reptile fair, and she's already like full grown. She's already full grown.
Don't you love to feel her belly on your
Yeah,
palm?
I know. It's like
Isn't that the best feeling?
Yeah, it is, especially when she's like really warm.
Yes.
Because she's just been in the heat lamp.
Yes. Thank you so much for bringing her.
This is my husband's monkey. Many of you knew my husband. I don't think he had a name, but he was given to my husband when my husband was a baby. And when he was about 4 or 5 years old, he lost an eye, and my husband's grandmother sewed a shoe button on for the other eye. It matches quite well. My husband's family moved to Rio de Janeiro when my husband was 6, and the monkey arrived upside down in the teapot and stayed with my husband forever. Now, we also have a cat named Milo, but I didn't think Milo would appreciate the puppies here. So I have not brought him along, but Milo was really my husband's cat also, and walks around the house every night howling for my husband. But I thought I'd bring the monkey because the monkey is such a symbol of my husband for me.
And I got to meet Milo too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings on the monkey and on Milo.
Thank you.
Hi, this is my dog Delta. She's a husky mix and she's 3 years old. She loves other dogs and she likes cats too.
Blessings. Hi. You want to hold it?
Thank you. Okay, I have a 4-part here. I'll start with the ones that are not here. Pray for GCC, aka Gangster Chick Chihuahua. Speedy and Greedy, they are the bearded dragons. Reese Puff, Little Kai, and 2 other cats there. Those are my sister cats. I think that's it for them. Pray for Foxy. That's a girlfriend's dog. It's another dog. Pray for my girlfriend, Linda. She has 1 dog. She just lost her dog, Artie. And then what I have with me is Bailey. This is my girlfriend's. She's right here. She's in full, right here. She's very shy.
Can I touch her?
She's a little shy. She made the. She's very shy. And then pray for me. This is my little dog that I. I just lost her. I'm sorry. She was everything to me. Everything. I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize.
I had her for a while. She died in my arms. And she had cancer. And she was just everything to me. And this is my other little dog that I had. I got him because his owner died. His name is Charlie. And he's just been, I've had him since he was 2 months old. And Butterfly taught him everything to help me to get through this. I lost Butterfly on August 30th. And I lost my mom 2 years ago on September 30th, who also died pretty much in my arms too. So this is hard, but I'm happy because I know they're doing better. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Blessings to you. Deep love. I did bless Charlie, yes. Blessings on Charlie. Thank you.
This is Chloe. She's the last dog that I have. I've had many, 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 many dogs being involved with foster and rescue. She is 16 years old now. She is deaf. She doesn't see much, but her nose still works.
Can I touch her?
You may touch her. She's very friendly.
I brought my best buddies that are not with me anymore. This was Zinky, who passed about 10 years ago. This was my best buddy ever, Titus, who a lot of you know from coming to my house, who passed a year ago, August 28th.
This is my cat, Smokey Bandit. He's 8 years old. We also have another cat, that's our daughter's. We also have a hamster, and we also have 2 tanks with fish.
Blessings, blessings, blessings. Thank you.
Smokey became a therapy cat for my mom before she passed. And my mom was not an animal person, and Smokey would sit right next to her and wouldn't let her be alone. And then when she ended up in the hospital, Smokey would sit outside her door and stay there. And if we opened the door to her bedroom, he'd go in there and hide and stay there and wouldn't leave till we forced him out. But I know he's hurting right now because my mom just passed back on Friday morning, I'm sorry. And which is probably why you haven't seen me in church, because we were taking care of Mom and being her caregiver. So.
It's a baby.
All right, these are our cats, Butternut and Snickers. And then we got Dudley, who's our 11-year-old pit mix, who can't be with us today because he's got a touch of pneumonia. And so we're doing meds and we can't come and visit everybody. But yeah, all right.
And blessings on you, beautiful
See
one.
everybody, all the animals.
Well, I wasn't going to do this, but This is for Snickers, my blessed cat. Hi, this is Picasso. He's my little man, believe it or not. We're here first time for Picasso's blessing, and we're here for Pierre, my dog in memory, passed away from cancer 3 years ago. But this is my little guy. Yes, thank you.
Hi, so this is Nisha. We're guessing she's maybe 8 or 9 years old. She was dumped, and the Humane Society brought her to my attention. And we're just getting ready to go for our second certification for therapy work. And the one thing I'm really excited about, she's really good with my chickens, which is totally undog-like. But as of 3 weeks ago, she chases hawks out of my yard. Keeping the chickens safe. She is keeping the chickens safe. Yes.
Last but not least.
I'm Pam Fodor, Director of Programs here at the church. This is my super mutt Gizmo, who is the emotional support animal for my other dog, Wally, who I didn't bring today because I thought it'd be too stressful. And so I'm wondering if they're a little bit stressed out because they're not with each other. But he's happy to be here. And if you come during the week, sometimes I bring them, so come visit.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? I just invite you to take a breath with me. Breathing in and out, and just knowing that we are sharing the breath with all of these beautiful beings. Yes, all the beings, human and otherwise. All who've gone before, all who are here now. And we hold in our hearts these companions that we love, these companions that journey with us. And we hold in our hearts those who are hurting from loss, knowing and remembering the connection of love, and the connection of joy, the connection of companionship. Blessings. Blessings. In a moment, I'm going to invite us into a litany of love. You have a response. We are blessed by your presence, and we bless you. For the animals we're responsible for day to day, for our companion animals, we say, we are blessed by your presence, and we bless you. For the animals that live in urban and suburban areas, who we see day to day in our neighborhoods, from the spider to the crow, from feral cats to coyotes, we say, we are blessed by your presence, and we bless you. For the animals that are lost or in shelters, we say, for animals held in zoos and animal parks, we say, we are blessed by your presence, and we bless you. For the animals we call wild, who live in their natural habitat, who we see rarely in person or only in books and on film, whose habitat and lives may be endangered, we say, we are blessed by your presence, and we bless you. For those animals suffering on factory farms, in laboratories, and used for entertainment, we say, we bless you, and we vow to work to ending your suffering. And so I think no blessing of the animal service would be complete without acknowledging that all God's creatures have a place in the choir. So, okay, I'm going to invite you to rise and body your spirit. I know we all know the chorus, and we'll all do the verses the best we can. Can you advance the... Oh, we don't have the words. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to sing the chorus a few times, Jamie, because I think we know it. Do you know it? I'm going to sing it for... No, I'm not going to sing it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Let's just sing the chorus a couple of times. Telephone wire, and some just clap their hands and pause and anything they got. Now all God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands and pause or anything they got. Now one more time. All God's creatures got a place in the choir. Some sing low and some sing higher, some sing out loud on the telephone wire, and some just clap their hands and pause and anything they got now. Yay! And I'm so glad that all God's creatures got a place in the choir, the dogs, the cats, and including me. And this is a time in our service where we acknowledge blessing, and there's been a whole lot of blessing going on here. What a joy it has been to be together in this service, in this community, where we journey together seeking and finding spiritual depth, to be part of something larger than ourselves, and to share our time, our talents, and our treasures. And you know, y'all do that so well. And today I just want to give a big old shout out to Charlie Fisher, who's not here today, hasn't been feeling well, who painted the garage and the entrance to the vestibule across the way. It's just, y'all, there's just so much that gets done here in quiet ways. You know, he didn't take out a sign and say, Charlie painted this. And it always moves me. And now, if it is possible for you to give to our offering, you know it will be gratefully received. And I invite you to join me in our offertory words. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we learn together, the work we do together, the fun we have together. It is what we share with one another, with the people around us, and with the world. And we just generously receive your offering now. The ushers want to come on forward. And now I invite you to join us in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world. Y'all do have a light. You've got a beautiful light, and we're about to take that light into the world in gratitude. I invite you to rise, embody your spirit, and we're going to give some thanks. We're going to sing it through a couple of times, right, Jamie? Rise, embody your spirit with me. To go forth from this place. We go forth with love in our hearts, because love is the key. Love. And Jamie, I'm going to end my benediction there because you've got something for us, don't you?
Nobody loves dogs more than me. Nobody. So here's some lyrics I wrote to the Nat King Cole song, Love.
And sing along. Join us for Yappy Hour downstairs.